In this session, we'll illustrate how views from 4 different drawings can be combined into an assembly drawing. We'll start by clicking on the base plate window to make it the active window. Now we'll use the layer control box to turn off the display of all layers except the object lines, hidden lines, and the center lines. The next step is to select the entire front view with the selection window as shown here. Now we'll copy the objects that were just selected in the front view of the base plate to the clipboard by clicking on the Copy to Clipboard icon. In order to copy the selected objects to the new drawing window, we'll now click on that window in order to make it the active window, and then click on the Paste from Clipboard icon. We'll now position the front view at the desired location and click the left mouse button. We'll skip over the details of the next step, which involves converting the front view into a section view, since this process was covered in Lesson 8. Our next step is to add the side view of the bearing to the assembly drawing. We'll start this process by clicking on the bearing window. Now we'll turn off the display of all layers except the object lines, hidden lines, center lines, and section lines. We'll now use the mouse to drag a selection window around the section view of the bearing. Now we'll right-click the mouse to accept the selected objects and then click on Copy with Base Point. We'll now click the crosshairs as shown here to define the base point. Now we'll left-click on the window to make it the active window and then right-click the mouse and select the Paste as Block option. We'll now move the crosshairs until the section view of the bearing is positioned as shown here, and then click the left mouse button. We now need to rotate the bearing, so we'll click on the Rotate icon and then select the bearing by left-clicking on one of its edges. Now we'll right-click the mouse to accept the selection and then position the crosshairs at the point about which the bearing will be rotated. In order to define the angle of rotation, we'll key in -90. Now we'll select the Explode icon and then click on the bearing and then right-click to accept the selection. The previous steps are now repeated in order to combine the collar and 2 copies of the cap screw as shown here.